Do you think there is something creatively speaking, that you haven't tried that you think you want to try? Like not necessarily even visual arts, but maybe like, acting or singing or picking up an instrument or maybe even ceramics, something that you would want to try that you haven't tried so far?
I mean, I think probably like um the areas I'm most interested in moving is like into kind of like more journalism or writing. Um especially like stuff that's kind of like uh where I can take like my comics or illustration and kind of push them into another direction.
Like
Um
editorial type?
yeah, or like doing writing for like comics criticism
Hmm.
or press sort of thing. Um like I took a visual journalism class when I was in school, and I still kind of think about like the role of the journalist and like how important it is when you're, and then there's like the feeling of like being out on location and trying to like get the story. Um, like that was something that was definitely on my mind at the protest on Saturday. Was like, oh, how do you, especially seeing like the press and photographers out there. It's like, how do you, properly convey what's happening
Right.
at, especially when there's so much disinformation. I feel like good journalism is just really valuable right now.
For sure, for sure. And also, do you feel like you would how do I present this question? Do you think there are words, or what would be words of advice, or um, you know, encouraging words or positive things that you would say to a young artist coming up, or even to yourself as a young artist starting out? What's something that you would say to encourage them?
I think about like now, yeah, we're all doing whatever we're doing under, the umbrella of capitalism. And like I think when I was younger, I was maybe more naive about becoming an artist. Like I mean, I'm definitely grateful. Like my mom was encouraging me to kind of go in that direction as a career, and I at least didn't have like a parent or overbearing parent who was like, "Oh no, you need to like get a normal job or something."
Right.
You know, but as I've become an adult and gotten older, that's still something that like have to deal with. Like right now, I just work as a bookseller, which is by no means like a high paying job, but at least allows me to make art at my free time. Um, but I kind of think of if I had like gone into something like related to art, but that still provided me more comfortability. Uh,
Hmm.
so I think it's like it's good to be able to pursue your dreams, but also understand that you have to pay for things. I guess.
Ah, okay.
So I
So,
guess find that balance and keeping that
right,
in.
and being just kind of more grounded.
Hmm.
Nice. Also, one question I asked other artists, if you could have a dream location or a dream studio setup, what would that look like?
Like probably I've thought about this before is if I were to like become a business owner or something and make that kind of more central to my career or whatever. It would be cool to have like my own bookstore
Hmm.
with back print shop or studio. Um, just because I think it could be really rewarding um, to have like my own kind of community space
Yeah,
to support other people and really kind of like create a nexus for creativity. Um, that's that's something I think about definitely.
that's interesting because most of the folks that I've interviewed have all said, including myself, that we want a space that includes other artists and to provide either just a space to make art or even to have, like you said, a storefront and your own place in the back. So that's really cool that we are so community minded and sort of have a heart for other artists too. Is there one tool or maybe some type of book or software or something that you would recommend that you maybe recently found or something that you use all the time that you find is really super unique and you want to tell people about?
Um, resources. I mean, there's definitely like um, books and stuff that I read like as a young artist that um, helped shape my perspective on creating. Um, like I still think back to Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way.
Hmm.
Uh, how like she has exercises in there that I felt were super helpful. Like the morning pages, which is the idea that you just like wake up and like word vomit like a few pages
Nice.
to kind of like get stuff out there. I still do that sometimes. This is really helpful because it also is kind of like just taking stock of like where you are mentally without like thinking about it too hard.
Yes.
I like that one a lot still. For comics, I remember I read there's like an Alan Moore's guide for making comics. That was super helpful. I think Alan Moore just like really kind of uh, like flipped it upside down for me in terms of like comic books because I had grown up on superheroes and stuff, but it wasn't until like I read Watchmen that I felt like, whoa, comics can be like really serious. They're not just like pulpy,
Yeah.
action stories. And like Watchmen is still about superheroes, but it's like there's so much more going on politically. Um, and then reading his like guide to making comics kind of really um, provided a bit of framework for me thinking about like how I was gonna structure my own stories. Um,
Nice.
and yeah, that's something I definitely think about as I'm kind of like coming back to the idea of writing and like, illustrating my own graphic novel
Hmm.
and thinking again like the nuts and bolts of comics, and that was a super helpful book for me.
Awesome. And speaking of that, do you have a project coming up soon? What's next for you?
Well, right now I'm really like focusing on just completing a bunch of pages for Slinky Lizard. My goal is to kind of have like a big, like 200 plus page
Wow.
omnibus or like collection or something. Mostly, I'm kind of like inspired by. You can get like little um, like copies of like Archie comics where it's
Hmm.
like a mini comic size, but then it'll be like 2 inches thick.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I want one of those that's it's kind of small, but it's like dense, you know.
Sure. That sounds really cool. So do you have we did talk about this a little bit. Do you have a daily practice or because I talked to Brina a little bit, you know Brina Nunez,
Yeah.
about when you get set up to art when you get set up to draw, do you have like I have a particular, placement of my tools and my paper and my board and all that. Like I like to be set up the same way every time. Do you have any art practice or creative thing like that that you do every day? Or not even every day, but when you are starting to, put pen to paper and get started, like
I would probably honestly say that I don't
okay.
because I feel like that can uh maybe unconsciously provide a barrier
Hmm.
making. Um like for me, I work in like a tiny sketchbook because I can carry it wherever I go and it's not cumbersome. And at any moment I can just kind of pull out and just start sketching if I want to. Um,
So you're just calling me a weirdo. That's okay. I'll take that.
no, it like works for me. I feel like I get in and out of my art practice,
Yeah.
to kind of squeeze, those moments in wherever I can.
No, that's fair. No, I sometimes I'm like, God, you are so. It's not even superstitious. What's the word? Just like, I don't know. It's a weird idiosyncrasy of like, I have to have my pencil, my eraser, and my pencil sharpened and like in a weird formation. And I'm like, oh my God, Amy, why do you do this? Even if I'm just gonna draw for 10 minutes sometimes. So I'm like, gosh, I
Yeah,
don't know what that's about, but it makes me feel comfortable, you know?
yeah. But then also I have like I started using an iPad for doing my digital work.
Hmm.
I really appreciated that for kind of the same reason. It's really easy for me to just like pull out my iPad and digitally ink comics without too much kind of like setup or anything. But at the same time, I do have like my spot um, in my room or studio where it's like or like I have my kind of like window desk where I feel like the most like peaceful and kind of centered, and I think that's also really important for when you have those more focused moments of like, all right, I'm doing stuff, I've got my, I'm in my like Zen, mind state.
Right. So if you could give your, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, but then just having like a specific like place for that is really nice because it's just set up for me to be kind of in that headspace.
Right. So if you could give your art to another artist, just maybe somebody you admire or somebody who maybe does work in a different medium, if you could hand over, like you said, your sketchbook to someone else and have them translate it, maybe translate it into something else like sculpture or translate it into just all, essays or short prose or poetry or something. It, do you have any artist in mind of someone that you would want to collaborate with?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I mean, like I have my own skills and whatever, but then thinking about like what my vision would potentially look like in other mediums or with other perspectives kind of added in. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Like it'd be cool to collaborate with the animator, but then I'm not sure if there's any one specifically I could think of.
Okay.
Um, Let me think. I don't know. Like, I mean, it would be cool to work with like Studio Ghibli or something on kind of like a Southwest
Nice.
sort of like movie inspired by my paintings. That could be cool, actually.
I don't know. Do you listen to music when you create?
Sometimes I mean, I'll listen to like YouTube and stuff, but definitely I get like on kicks with music. Um, like I think last year I was really going hard on kind of like more like music in Spanish.
Hmm.
A lot of like uh I guess like yeah, R&B and kind of poppy stuff in uh Spanish as a way for me to kind of practice and just kind of set the vibe while I'm painting.
Yeah. Yeah. I just recently started like having a little bout of insomnia. So now all of a sudden I've been listening to YouTube videos where it's just like hours and hours of thunderstorms and rainstorms. And then I was doing that at night and it put me right out. But then I also started feeling like, let me put that on during the day. And it's so relaxing. And
Hmm.
I've been on this, like finding all these different, oh, this one has thunder and lightning, and this one has rain on rooftops. And like, it's awesome.
I think probably one of my favorite ambient sounds is just watching Star Trek,
Oh, cool.
especially like the 90s treks because that's like there's not like a lot of action or anything
Okay.
kind of
No,
see so you can
I'm,
mostly listen,
no,
get
I'm the
steps.
same way. I'm totally the same way. And I get teased about it a lot because no matter how many times I watch The Walking Dead, I'll just put it on. And it's a comfort. It's like my security blanket. Like I can recite some episodes now. I don't care.
Right, yeah, like
Wait,
especially if I'm prepping for a show or something,
yep.
maybe have a a show that I'm just gonna, binge while I'm working.
Is there any episodes that you are your favorite?
I don't know. Like Star Trek, there's so many good ones. Honestly, Deep Space Nine was always my favorite because they really they really go in on some of them. Um, like there's the one where uh, Captain Cisco in Deep Space Nine, he gets stuck out of time, and then his son, you see like his son age, and he gets these there's these moments where he gets to see his dad like every like 10 or 20 years or something.
Mm,
And actually, that one was really great because the actor who played Katie Man, he plays the Jake Sisko character when he is like older.
hmm.
That's like one of those episodes that just like goes straight for your heart. It was really great, like beautiful way.
Man, you're so
Yeah,
awesome
yeah,
because
so there's like if you're doing like a rewatch or something, that there are these episodes that are gonna pop up. They're just gonna play.
now I feel so kind of bad because all of my favorite episodes just involve inherent murder, kill, kill, kill. Like I love the episode in season 6, episode 2, JSS, where these invaders come into the community and murder everyone. And I'm like listening to you talk about such good, sweet episodes, and I'm like, yeah, I just like the ones where everybody gets killed. Or one of my other favorite ones, which oh my god, I sound so bad saying this, when a really beloved character gets his head chopped off.
Oh, I can't.
What's wrong with me?
Like, that's a super hard line for me. I can't handle decapitation.
Oh gosh, and that's what I said. You have all these sweet memories of your shows, and I'm like, yeah, that one episode where they do this horrible thing. I'm like, oh, Avi, what's wrong? What's wrong with you?
You know.
But anyway, this has been awesome sitting down to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks again for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, I remember you doing Oakland Creates way back when, and like
Yeah, that
before
was
lockdown, like 2017, I think. So it's
oh,
awesome.
it was longer than that. Dang.
Yeah. Yeah, like you were at one of, I think probably the first or second one for sure.
Yeah, it was probably like the second maybe.
Nice. Well, shout out your do you still do Instagram and stuff?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. My personal page is it's at Soda Paints. I have my humor comics up on Slinky Comics. Um, and then also I still help organize the Mission Art and Comic Expo.
Sweet.
Definitely check that out.
I'll put all that in the description box for everyone.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. This has been fun.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks again.
All right. Thank you so much.